Hi. I'm finally getting around to doing the video for the Waterfall / peppermint candy blanket. I've got my instructional pieces together on here. I just wanted to say that, whoo, it's been a process. I've never done this before, so please forgive me for, stumbling over my words a million times. This is post me putting together the pieces, so I'm going to go into the editing process on my several tries here and try to put them together into a hopefully an instructional there. Of course, this isn't a finished blanket, and this is 9 rows here. Let me see if I can get you a view of what we've got going on here. I figure I would get you started so that maybe you guys can get started on it, because it's really, you just repeat the second row throughout the blanket. But I can come back, and that's the 10th row starting there. You guys can get started on yours, and I can film some more on it if you guys want to, like, crochet along. That's up to you guys. It really is just repeating the second row throughout. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to see pictures, I hope. I had a food delivery and I don't remember where I was. I don't know if you saw my food review. This one was a little bit different. Same ingredients, different bread. Got a butter croissant this time. But decent. I did put salt and pepper on it. Anyway, this is about the blanket. So the blanket, I did 9 rows and I started the 10th. I wanted to be able to come back if y'all like. I don't have to. I just wanted you guys to be able to start the blanket. And this has been a minute since I've been talking about it and saying that I would try to show y'all how to do it. How to do it the way that I did it. I mean, it's a ripple, but I realize that all ripples aren't the same. I just got a notification that Passion and Kelsey has released today's Vlogmas. It's right here on the screen. I'm like, I need to go watch it. Anyway, where's I at? Oh, all ripples are not done the same. Like the chevron is like a deeper V, I think. And so all ripples are not the same. I know that my ripple is not the same as others. We all do it different. You just have to do the math. I'm terrible, speaking of math, at math. I like basic math, add, subtract, multiply, divide, fractions, things like that. Your basic math before you hit algebra. I'm great at that. But when it comes to beyond that, trying to figure out the length of a chain and how, when you wanted a specific length, I can't do that. I had to go to Grok to get help with that, because I was like, I usually just guess. I just chain the lengths that I think I might want it. I don't do swatches and go, okay, I don't do that. But this time I was like, well, I'm doing this for a tutorial, so I've got to try to figure it out. I tried. I failed. I made my chain way too long, and I was like, this is like twice the length that I need it to be. What am I going to do? And then I tried again, and then I got 9 rows in, and my blanket was 7.5 feet long. I only needed 6 feet, and then I wasn't going to have enough yarn. I was like, oh my God, now I got to take it all out and redo it, because I'm not going to have enough yarn to make my blanket. I did want to have a finished project when I was done. So then I had to take everything out and start over. So I went to Grok and I was like, please help me with my math because I fail at math. That's not what I put into the Grok. But anyway, I asked the Grok. God, I sound like an old lady. I went to the Twitter, the Facebook, the MySpace. Remember that? Anyway, I went to the Grok and said, hey, please help me with my math. I need to figure this, and I can't. Something like that. Anyway, I show you in the video that now my mom is texting me. She needs help with something. Pause. Okay, got mommy figured out. I don't remember where I was, though. I don't remember what I was talking about at all. She's just thanking me. Yeah, completely drawing a blank. Don't remember what I was talking about. It had something to do with the blanket, I'm sure. Oh, she made a typo. Now she's correcting her typo. Anyway, I think something that I left out in the beginning of it, the getting started, is that it is done with a do you hear the Jeopardy music going like I do? Thinking. It's done with the number 6 bulky weight yarn. The anniversary cake is a number 6 bulky weight acrylic yarn. So you don't have to have an anniversary cake to do it. You just have to get this blanket. You're going to need that that big thick squishy yarn like that. I think Woolies might be a number 6. Don't quote me on that. Don't get me. Don't come at me. As people would say, don't come for me or come at me. If it's not, I think that might be a squishy, big, thick yarn like that. I don't use it because I'm allergic to wool, or I don't know if I'm allergic as much as just I have a high sensitivity to wool. I think that if you're gonna keep the blanket and you can launder it, you have to be a little careful with wool. With even a low content in wool, you have to be a little more careful with it. It can be washed, but you have to be careful when you dry it. Maybe on a cool setting or something. Probably better just to lay it flat. But a blanket laying flat to dry. But anyway, yeah, just a number 6 bulky weight yarn. But you can go look at a bulky weight yarn and acrylics, and they can be not as bulky as they say they are. I would look for one that's kind of like that. I'm pointing down at the blanket. Something that's going to come out like this, so that it will actually look like this when it's done. So I don't think I said that at the beginning of when I start the tutorial. I don't think I mentioned the weight of the yarn. I did mention the hook size, which is an 8, because this yarn calls for an 8. You're going to want to go with whatever the yarn calls for. So whatever yarn you use, you're going to want to use whatever. Excuse me. So there's that. Because I'm putting this part of the video at the beginning of the video, of course. But I'm videoing it after I did the tutorial part. So anyway, there's that. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do a little bit of housekeeping in the beginning here before I go ahead, and I haven't even edited it yet, but I'm going to go in. I don't think it'll take me long to edit because I know what pieces of it need to be in there. There were parts that I videoed that I was like, nope, I'm going to have to go back and redo that. So I was like, frog, redo. I have redone this so many times. It's ridiculous. I've got a lot of practice now in making this. Came out better every time. So, let's see. I'm thinking if I left anything out. And if I did, I will come back to this part and put it in. maybe. I might just put little notes on the screen. So I wish you happy crocheting, and I hope your blanket turns out to be the most beautiful thing you've ever made. I think this is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever made. I was showing it to my mom a while ago, and she was like, "Oh, that's beautiful." I was like, "Thank you. I think so too." Because it's the yarn, I think. I mean, I did well as far as crocheting it, but it's just a simple double crochet with a couple of decreases and increases. That's all it is. But anyway, there's 14 stitch repeat, boop, 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 down the row, and then 2 decreases and 2 increases. 4 stitch, there's 4 double crochets in between each of the decreases and increases, and it's a repeated down the row, and then the second row is repeated all the way to the end. And of course it's done in the back loop from the second row on. It is that simple. You guys can do this so easily even if you've never crocheted before, because I teach you at the beginning. If you guys that are crocheters, you're gonna have to fast forward through that part. It's a good thing it's a YouTube video, because you're gonna be like, that's boring. So you just fast forward past that and you'll be fine. Because I give like I slow walk you through the slip knot and how to double crochet and make your decrease and your increase. So there's a little bit of slow walking through that part, and then here we go. So that way everybody can do it, even your beginners. So I didn't want anybody to be left behind. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this edit. Hopefully this video, I got yarn fibers in my mouth. I have dealt with this all the way through. This is a fibery yarn, I think, because it has been as bad as my dog hairs I'm dealing with here too. I appreciate the likes and the subscribes and the comments. You guys are awesome. And I like, subscribe, and comment on this one. Thank you so much. I think I've just made a whole bunch of friends. That's how it feels, and I really appreciate that. There were a couple of channels that... Hold on a second. I don't want to get it wrong. Crochet After Dark is one of them. She's really awesome. I love watching her after dark when I'm crocheting. I have fallen asleep to her twice now, watching her video, and then had to rewind it and go watch it again. Not rewind it like, be kind, rewind. But I've had to go back, and I fell asleep in this part of the video and go back and watch it. Nancy's Twisted Strings. Please go check her out and subscribe to her channel. But check her out because I want you to see her content. Her content is so interesting. It's not just her content, but it's what she does with her crafts. They're really cool. So please, please, please go look at her stuff, like what she does, and subscribe to her channel. She's very interesting. Really cool. So hi Nancy, if you're here, hi. And thank you for giving me a shout out on your channel. I really appreciate that. And your stuff is really cool. I love all the buttons. I collect buttons. I have way too many buttons. I don't need all the buttons that I have. I will never use all the buttons that I have. I just really like buttons. I have no idea why. I'm fascinated with them. I have, like I said, way too many buttons. There's no way I'll ever use all those buttons. I sew. Like I said before, I started sewing before I started crocheting, actually. But it wasn't going anywhere. But then I started crocheting, and people like my crochet better than they like my sewing, I guess. I don't know. But I still sew, just not as much as I crochet. I never stop crocheting. I crochet all day, every day. I get up in the morning, I do all the things I need to do to get ready for the day, and then I pick up a hook and yarn. So I guess maybe my passion was always at crocheting. I didn't realize it. So, but if somebody needs something sewed, I'm on it. So my sewing machine's name, I have more than one sewing machine, but my main sewing machine, her name is Catherine. And actually, my sewing machine is a Baby Lock Catherine. So her name she came to me already pre-named. So I name things. I name inanimate objects. My car's name is Opal. My sewing machine's name is Catherine. I have a KitchenAid mixer named Ruby. Guess what color it is? Yeah, it's red. There you go. I name things. I am going to go edit this video and get it out to you guys, and I hope you have a lot of fun making this blanket. It really is. It really gets going. Be careful. Those 4 stitches in between the decreases and the increases, they're just 2. Decrease, increase. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Decrease is a 5. Decrease is a 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is your increase. Increase, increase. Those are the 14 stitches. If you count it out like that, you won't make a mistake. If you don't count, you'll end up with 5 stitches. And then you'll go, crap, where'd I mess up? And you'll have to back up and go, I added a stitch here. I added a stitch here. Or I didn't do enough. Here, I've got 3. Be careful. It's tricky. If you don't do the head count for like we do as crocheters, it's just automatically count thing. If you don't do that, it'll trick you. It'll catch you. So watch out. It'll trip you up. It's real easy blanket to do. Real easy. But it'll catch you. You got to keep lining up your decreases and increases. They line up perfectly all the way up and down the blanket. Your first stitch of each row is your first stack single or your chain 3. If you choose to do a chain 3, then you go right back in that same stitch with your first double crochet, and then after that you do in the back row or the back loop all the way through, and then you end in both loops your last stitch. Sometimes that last one is hard to find because it starts out the way that it starts out, but you crochet in both loops of the last stitch. And then you flip under and you start same way. I do a stack single and my edge is straight, and then I go back in that first one for my second double crochet. The stack single is a double crochet. And then I start my second double crochet in that first stitch, and then 3, 4, or 2 double crochets after that are in the back loop, and then it starts after that. Your decrease, decrease, 4, decrease, or increase, increase, all in the back loop. But that first of the row and the last of the row may trip you up if you're not careful. But just keep going like that. Remember that your first I'll tell you in the video. I'll tell you. But I'm giving you a heads up. Pay attention. Pay attention to there. Okay? Good. I'm going to go now. See you there. Hello. I'm Elizabeth, and this is Miss Elizabeth Crochet, and this is the tutorial for the ripple pattern on the waterfall blanket that you guys see on the back of my chair when you watch my videos. I'm going to do the best that I can. Please bear with me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I will answer them as best I can. Okay, I'm going to try to make this as beginner friendly as I can. I have not ever taught a beginner via a video. I have taught people to crochet, but not via a video. So I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to try to make this I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can, but as thoroughly as I can. So I do struggle with calculating chains I wanted to jump right in there. I did ask ChatGPT, actually no, it was Grok yesterday. Anyway, AI. I asked AI yesterday how to help me do the calculations for the number of chains, because I noticed that when I got 9 rows in to my blanket that I had miscalculated terribly, and it was going to be over 7.5 feet long, and I was like, I was just going to let it be that long, and I realized I'm not going to have enough yarn to do this blanket, and it's going to be too narrow. It's going to be long, plenty long, but way too narrow, and I was like, crud. So I had to take it all out, and now I'm re-videoing it, so, yay. Big boo-boo. So, I asked Grok yesterday to help me do the math for my starting chain. So, I actually did a swatch, and I knew how many chains that it was, not chains, but I knew how many inches it was for like 28. I did a swatch. Let's just put it that way. I did a swatch. And I thought I had calculated it correctly to get my 6 foot. Well, I had 6 feet, all right, plus another 1.5 feet. And so, and I didn't bother to remeasure once I had gotten it, you know, to the length, and kept crocheting and crocheting. I was like, man, this seems like it's awfully long. Because when I would flop it all out there, you know, and go to crocheting, I was like, this seems like it's way too long. So I measured it, and sure enough, it was way too long. And I was just going to do it, and then realized I didn't have enough yarn. I wasn't going to have enough yarn. So I pulled it all out, and now I'm re-videoing it. So there's that. So what I did was I measured what, okay, the stitch pattern is 14 stitches in length, or it's 14 chains. Jesus, Lord help me. Oh my gosh. My stitch pattern is 14 stitches for the ripple. I put the math, or I put those two figures into Grok and said, help me figure out what I need to do to get to 6 feet. I said, how do I figure the math for my starting chain and crochet? My stitch repeat is 14 and 28 inches is 13 inches. I want a 6 foot blanket. Said your stitch gauge is 28 inches, or 28 stitches equals 13 inches. So 28 divided by 13, and I don't know what this math sign means. It looks like 2 squiggly lines of an equal. I don't know what that means. I'm terrible with math. Is 2.1538 stitches per inch, or exactly 28 divided by 13 stitches per inch, or 28 over 13 stitches per inch. It's 72 inches long. Anyway, it says calculate exact stitches needed for 72 inches. Multiply desired width by gauge. 72 inches times that. 28/13 inside parentheses. I do know what PEMDAS is. Basic math I can do. Algebra I cannot. 71.5 inches is very close, only about 0.7% short. While 78 inches is noticeably wider, about 8% over. Most crocheters would choose 154 stitches for a blanket aiming for 6 feet, as it's nearly exact and avoids excess width. The foundation chain is typically the number of working stitches plus extra turning chains, depending on the starting stitch of row 1. Plus 1 for single crochet, plus 2 for half double crochet. I don't know where that went. Anyway, your pattern requires for the working stitches to be a multiple of 14. And that's right. And then you round down. Largest multiple of 14, less than or equal to 155 is 154 stitches. 11 repeats of 14. And then the actual width of it is 154 divided by 28 over 13 inside the parentheses equals 71.5 inches. Half inch short of 72. And so anyway, that's the math for the starting chain. I hope you guys caught that, because that's the best I can do. I can't do math. I can't figure it on my own. I had to go to Chat or Grok to do it, or you can go to Chat GPT to do it. I'm sorry, but I figured mine way wrong when I tried to do it the first time. I had to take the whole thing out because I didn't have enough yarn to do a 7.5 foot blanket. So anyway, off we go to the races. I need 155 stitches, or if you want to do, okay, for me personally, I do a stacked single crochet on the ends of my blankets. It makes for a straight edge. So you'll need a slip knot. And in order to do that, you've got one side, which is your tail, which is just going to be a hanging down. You're going to need to have enough to secure your work later. Okay? You'll want to weave this in later. And you're going to put it over your working yarn, which is the yarn that connects to your cake. And you're going to take the yarn that connects to your cake. You've got like a loop going on there. See? And you're going to poke it through this hole and grab that you just poked through. And then you can just pull all that. See how easy that was? You got a slip knot on your hook. Then you've got your tail here, and you got your working yarn here, and pull it tight. Slip knot. And then you kind of just have your slip knot or your tail over here. And this is how I do this. Let me get you out a little bit. A lot of people will want to know, how did you do that wrappy thing around your pinky and your finger? That I've seen this a lot in the Facebook feeds and stuff. How'd you do that wrappy thing around your pinky, or around your pinky and your finger? Because it just happens so fast, and they're like, how'd you do that? I just lay it across my pinky, and then I kind of bring it around, lay my hand flat, and then I pick it up with my finger, and there you go. And it feeds just like that. Let me show you again. Pick it up, lay my hand flat, and then I pick it up with my finger, and it goes just like that. And that, see? Okay, so here we go with the chain. Let me do this again. Alright, so we're going to make sure that we have a hold of our yarn. My gosh, I forgot how to do a chain. We want to wrap. You want to make sure you're always stabilizing your yarn. You want to pick it up and stabilizing, bring it through the hook, and you've made your first chain. And you want to make sure you keep your chain stabilized. Grab that chain, pick it up, and bring it through. Stabilize this chain and make your chains even. And don't make them tight, because you're going to have to go through these chains to make your foundation row, which is the first row. Stabilize this chain. Wrap, pull through, 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Hold it with this hand. Re-up your yarn here, make it a little bit. Grab this chain. And you see that loosened up? Pull it back down. Pull it back down. Grab a hold of that. Pull this through. And that 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure your chain stays flat and even. If it gets twisted, that's going to make for wonky work, and this won't work, okay? If you do this, then you've got a messed up chain. And you come back to work into this, you're like, oh no, that's messed up. Okay, I mean, you can make it work. It just won't be, it won't be pretty. And it'll be difficult to work into. And if you tighten this down like this, and you work really tight, like this, really tight, and work really tight, like this. See how that's tight and uneven and janky? You're not going to be able to work your chain, your stitches into that on the next row. See, it's tough. Tough to get into. See? See how that pokes up? That's really tough. So, let's pull that out. Go back here where I started to get off track. And this yarn kind of fuses to itself because it's got a little bit of a halo to it. Which makes for a soft yarn, but it also makes for a yarn that's a little more difficult to work with at times. So what I did there is I just frogged back, in case you needed that terminology. Alright, so now I've got 2 chains. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just examine your chains. Make sure there's uniformity there. Okay, they all look basically the same, and they're loose enough that I can work back into them on the next row, like on my first row. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and with the wonders of YouTube, you old hat crocheters can move on past this. 14. And that's our first repeat. This is how many we need for one of the repeats. Our stitch repeat. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21, 22. You want to make sure that you're keeping your work straight, your chain straight, and you don't want to make it tight. You want it to be good, you want it to be loose enough that you can work into it on your first row. Okay? You got to go back and count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 22. 23, 24, 25. Now I'm going to leave you right here, and I'm going to meet you at the end. Okay, I've got 154. So that's my 14 stitch repeat. Here's my chains. You want to go back and make sure you've got uniformity. You don't want like some great big ones and some really tight ones. And you want them all to be flat, like this. You don't want it to be twisted. Okay, we've done the 154 plus 3 stitches past the 154. The 3 stitches past the 154 counts as 1 double crochet. Later, I will tell you about the stitch that I do. But this first, on the chain, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. We're going to count these 3 stitches, or 1, 2, 3. These 3 count as your first double crochet. Even though it's just chains currently, but we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then this is the end of the 154 here. But we're going to count in 3, and then go into this 4th chain right here. We're going to yarn over, go into this chain, yarn over, pull up, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2. You've got your first double crochet, and then you also have these 3 chains right here, which count as another double crochet. So, and then we yarn over, we go through the next chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 chains on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So far, there's your chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And then we have the first 2 double crochets that we've worked. We're going to do 1 more double crochet. So we yarn over, go through the next chain, yarn over, pull through. We've got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, the last 2 loops, and then now we have 4. We've worked. We've got the 3 extra chains, which counts as the first, and we've worked 3 double crochets. Now we're going to do a special stitch, which is double crochet 2 together, or our first decrease. So we yarn over, go through the chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through the next chain, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all loops on the hook. And that is double crochet 2 together, or our first decrease, which, if you'll notice, we have 1 V here. There's 1, 1, 1, 1, the first 4 we worked, and then we worked 2 here together, and it created 1 V, because it's a double crochet 2 together, creating 1 V, or 1 stitch. So far we have worked 5 stitches, but it looks in the front like 6, but it's only 5. So we're going to do that again, another double crochet 2 together, or decrease. Okay, so follow along. Did you catch that? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll take that out and walk you through it. Yarn over, put it through the next chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, or 2 chains on the hook, yarn over, put through the next chain, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, last 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches worked. Remember, we have a 14 stitch repeat. Next, we're going to work 4 double crochets, one right after the other. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets after the 2 decreases. These are your decreases. Next, another special stitch. It's actually not too special. It's 2 double crochets, but it's worked in 1 stitch. It's called an increase. Back here, we did decreases. So now, in order to make up for that, we got to do 2 increases. So in this stitch, right here, we're going to put a double crochet. There's 1. In the same stitch, the same chain, we're working another double crochet. See? This is 2 stitches. Back here, these were 1. In the front, it looks like 2. But on the top, see these? Those are 1. Here, we've worked 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and on the top, you can see there are 2 stitches. We're going to do that again, right next door, into this chain. Another increase. There's 1, and there in the next, in the same stitch there's 2. Boom, boom. 4 stitches. 2 chains, 4 stitches. So let's count. In this, there's the 3 chains at the beginning that equaled 1 double crochet. 2, 3, 4 stitches. And here we did our decrease. This was 2 stitches here, so that's 6. And here's our 4. So that's 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's our stitch pattern. So that's our first, the first little bit of our stitch pattern right there coming together. Now, next, what you think's going to come next? 4 double crochets. Because it starts to repeat. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, gotta get me some yarn here. Whoops, sorry. I've got this thing right in front of my face so that you guys can see what I'm doing. You're looking at my view. I feel like the count from Sesame Street. 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. 4 double crochet. So, if our last special stitch was 2 in the same stitch 2 times, our next one has to be this was an increase, so the next one has to be a decrease. I'm sorry for all the banging. That's the one thing about these furls. They can be noisy. So, remember, we got to pull through there and hold the 2 and go to the next. So there's 2 half stitches here with 3 on the hook and pull through. There's a decrease. 1 more decrease. There's the 2 halves, 3 stitches, or 3, 3 loops and pull through. So there's the decreases, increases, decreases. 4 double crochets. And next is increases. That's 1, 2 in the same stitch for an increase, and 1 more increase. And next, see how it's starting to ripple? It begins to take shape pretty fast. I mean, you don't have to do anything. It just starts doing that all on its own because of the increases and decreases. That's what makes it do it. For the people who have done ripples before or chevrons, you know how it works. For those of you who have never done this before, that's what makes it. That's what makes your ripple patterns do that, is your increases and decreases. So next is your 4 double crochets. And if you are brand new to crochet and you're doing this, look at you go. Because I didn't do anything like this until I'd been crocheting for a long time. So that's 4. Our last special stitch was our increase. So now we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. It's real easy to get in an autopilot mode and just rip right past your special stitches and go, oh, now I gotta take it out. I do it all the time. So you got to really keep an eye on it because it's such a fast switch up. You've only got 4 stitches between your special stitches. It's a really short stitch pattern. So there you go. Got your increase, your 4 stitches, decrease. Now 4 double crochets. Make sure you don't twist your chain when you're going along here. Doing the foundation row is a pain in the butt. I think it's a pain in the butt with every blanket you do or anything that requires a foundation row. It's tedious, especially if it's long like this. You get kind of tired of it. But after that, you kind of roll right along. So we did our 4 double crochets. Now it's time for the increase. Got to have more yarn. I'm double checking. I have a tendency to add a stitch and then it throws off the whole pattern. And I'm like, oh, crud. Here we go again. Ripping it out. So, yeah. And having to, by the way, having to rip the whole thing out. That was only like, I don't know, maybe the 4th time. That's why it's taking me so long to release this video. Because I've had to refilm it a few times. Because I didn't have to rip the whole thing out that many times. But I'd had to rip it back several times. Because I kept messing it up. And having to refilm it. So, I guess it's like, you know, we're all new at something at some point. And this is something I'm very new at. So, yeah. Please forgive me for it taking so long to do. I'm trying. That's why I, you know, released a couple of videos in the interim. Because, yeah, just, you know, working on this and, you know, trying to working on this while I'm trying to also maintain a channel to have something on my channel while I'm working on this. You know, and be new at the same time is a little rough. And going through all the things that my family is going through. We've had a couple of major losses this month, and plus the other family drama at the same time. It's been a rough couple of months in our year. I hope next year is easier on my family. Like, it's not just me, it's the whole family is going through some terrible things. I have yarn fibers in my mouth. Don't you love it? You love it when you get yarn fibers in your mouth? That's not... Like, it's as bad as dog hair or worse. Or no, it's not worse. It's as bad as getting a dog hair in your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got a little bit distracted there. I'm about to leave you guys and crochet my way toward the end of this row and see if you guys can get yourself to the end of the row, and I will, well, I say to the end, not all the way to the end. I don't expect you to know how to get to the end, but 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. What I will do is meet you at the last 14. How's that? And then I will crochet with you to the end of the row from the last 14. How's that? I'll meet you there. Okay, so I got to the last 14, and I'm going to work them together with you and start the second row. So here we go. We've got, hold on a minute, gotta make sure, I gotta see where I'm at actually, because actually I stopped and had to go tend to my dogs and give them dinner, so I gotta see where I'm at. I'm out of breath because I just came up the stairs. Okay. Whew. So I've got my decrease right here, and I got 4 stitches, so I've got to do an increase. So there's my increase. There's 1. And there's 2. There's 2 increases for 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dog hair. And here's, I'm going to do 4 in a row double crochets. Lots of dog hair. This fell on the floor, so there's dog hair. German Shepherd. We also refer to this as German Shepherd glitter. There's 2, 3, 4. That's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we got to do our decrease. There's half of the decrease. And the other half of the decrease. So that's 9. There's 1 half. There's the other half. So that's 9, 10. Here we go for the last 4. 11, 12, 13, and 14. And there we go. Lots of German Shepherd glitter. And there's our slip knot. Now, okay, we've come to the end of our foundation row. I went ahead and went all the way to the end. But when you get to the end, you're going to chain up 3 for your first double crochet. I'm going to chain up 2, and we're going to turn under like this. Here you are. We're going to turn under. Here and throughout. Turn under. You want to keep it same all the way throughout. I'm crocheting. You can do a chain up 3 for your first double crochet. If you do, you're still going to go in. You're going to crochet into this first stitch right here. Your first stitch is this V right here, very first one. Even if you have chained up 3, okay? This will be your first stitch, and then you're going to double crochet right into that first V right there. I'm going to stacked single crochet, okay? And I'll go ahead and show you how to do that in case you want to do it. And I do it because it makes your edges straight. See how straight that is? And then I'm going to go back in and do my second stitch, my second double crochet right there in that first double crochet there. Where this is the first, see right here, if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first decrease right there, we've got 4 stitches. We've worked both of our first stitches into that first stitch. Okay, and then we're going to work in a back loop only from here on out. So there's a double crochet in the back loop only until we get to the last stitch in the row. Okay, we're going to work in the back loop only until we get to the last stitch, which will not be worked in the back loop. It will be worked in both loops. See the loops? V, loop. Double crochet in the back loop, double crochet in the back loop. Wait, no, we're going to decrease in the back loop because we've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to decrease, sorry. Decrease. I keep grabbing my cord. So there's our first decrease in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Decrease. And our next decrease. This second row is repeated from here throughout the blanket. There's our 2 decreases. Now we're going to do our 4 double crochets. think I split my stitch. If that happens, you just back it out and go back in. That can happen quite a bit when you're working in the back loop only. My dogs are wanting their bones. I need to go get it for them. It's past 8 o'clock. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're doing our increase. I keep doing that, dropping my hook. So there's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's our first 14 stitch repeat of our second row. Now, I'm going to leave you to your own devices till we get to the end of the second row, and I'll meet you there. Here we are at the end of row 2. I have the 1 stitch left. I'm going to double crochet into both loops here. And then I'm going to chain up 1. And you can do your 3 chains for your first stitch, or do the stack single like I did, whichever. And then turn under like this. And here on out, it's just a repeat. So I will stack a single crochet like this. That's my single. I'll go into this first bar of it, come out, and then pull through those top 2 loops there for my stacked single. Then I will yarn over and go back through there for my first double crochet. So there's my first 2, and then I will come back and I will start with my third double crochet here in the back loop. Here's my 4th back loop. There's my first 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll go in with my decrease. I hope you guys made it through your second row without any hiccups. I'm gonna get some yarn here. Here we go. There's my first decrease. Here's my second decrease. My first 4, my 2 decreases. Now I want to work on my second 4 double crochets. The way that I like to count it and to be on the safe side, I'm sorry, I gotta get some more yarn here. The way that I like to count my stitches is, this is stitch 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these are stitches 5 and 6. This is 7, 8, 9, whoa, and 10. And these are stitches 11 and 12 here in this first increase. And the second increase are stitches 13 and 14. So again, 1, 2, maybe, 3, 4, and the first decrease is 5. Second decrease is stitch 6. Here is 7. Eight. My stomach's growling. 9. 10. And then our 2 increases are 11. 12. 13. And 14. And I'm going to leave you there and meet you at the end of the row. And I'm going to go get something to eat, so my stomach will quit growling. Okay, when you get to the end of this row, you might have a little bit of a struggle trying to find your last stitch, because you know that there's got to be 4, like at the beginning. And like when after your last decrease, there's got to be 4. Well, you remember we put 2 stitches in one place. That last one might be a little bit difficult to find, but it's there. And you might feel like, well, maybe I'm just going to have to dig around. So you do have to kind of dig around. Well, you may not have to, but you do. You do have to kind of dig in it. But it's there. Yarn over. Put your hook through there and make your last double crochet right there. So you're not growing your blanket. You've got the same amount of stitches, and if you go back and count, you'll have the same amount of stitches however much your chain is. That's how many stitches you'll have. You should. You might go back and check, but you should have the same amount of stitches as long as you've got 4 there and all your stitches line up. You should have exactly the right amount. And I'm going to chain up 1 for my stack single on the next row. You can chain up 3 for yours, or 1 if you're doing the stack singles like me. And then turn under for your next row. Now, what I plan on doing is, I dropped it. Is I'm going to show you how to do this, like it's just the same as the last one. I'm going to do my stack single right here. I got to tighten that up on my hook. There's my single. Go in that first bar there. Pull through there, 2 chain, or 2 loops on the hook. And there's my stack single. Now, for that hole there, I'm going to go yarn over and go back through there. Whoops. I split my yarn. Go back through here, make my second double crochet in that chain. So we've got 2 there. So remember, when we turn this back around for the next row, there's going to be 2 in this last row here that we'll work into, and this one will be hard to find usually. So then we're going to work in the back loop here. Okay, for our next 2. And we do this. I didn't remember doing this on my other blanket, but I guess I did, because these stitches have to line up. So here we are with our decrease ready. See that the decrease is lining up. My heater kicked on. It's taking my voice because I'm drying my throat out. I gotta get a drink. See, look, the decreases are lining up. We need those stitches to line up because your ripple has to be lined up for it to work. So those were stitches 5 and 6. Remember I told you how to count it? This is stitch 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just becomes muscle memory after a while, especially if you count it by the stitch number. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There you go. And these stitches should line up. Your decrease and increase stitches should line up so that your ripple looks like a ripple. Here's stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See the ripple? Is yours looking like a ripple? One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to turn you loose. Like I was saying earlier, I work 12 rows of the anniversary cake. And then I go and I change colors for 4 rows. And then I go back to this anniversary cake. I'm going to see what the 4 rows of the red look like. So that'll be row 16. I'll meet you there, row 16. And see what we're looking like. See you then.